From the bowels of the THI mothership, it's time for another 5 for Friday. This is Tar Heel Illustrated publisher Andrew Jones. And this week's topic is the Tar Heels game Saturday at home versus Appalachian State. And before I get into it, very quickly, a reminder, you have just 1 week left to sign up for your free preview of Tar Heel Illustrated. All of our premium content you can access for free between now and a week from now. I guess it's the Clemson game. And then you can actually access it through the Georgia Tech game, but you can only sign up through the 27th or 28th next week. So get on board, come check us out, and if you choose to stick around and sign up for a 1-year subscription, we're going to give you 6 months for free. Now, App State and Carolina. This is a really big game. If you're paying attention to scalp tickets, or I guess the hub stub type things, or whatever they're called, all those ticket agencies out there, this is one of the most expensive tickets in college football this weekend. A big part of it's because of the resurgent interest in UNC football with the return of Mack Brown, but also the App State factor is pretty big in this. They have a good-sized fan base that has been looking forward to this game for a long time. It's an enormous game for that program, the opportunity to play and beat the flagship university in their stadium. But this is a huge game for UNC as well, and there are a couple reasons why. Number one, Mack is in a rebuild, but they have enough talent that it's not like a 2-10 type rebuild. This club can certainly go to a bowl game, and it could win more than 6 games, especially when you consider how mediocre the ACC is. But you can't, it's a little harder, rather, to sell a rebuild if you lose at home to App State. All the respect in the world to the App State program. It's an excellent program, Sun Belt champs every year. They've got some really good players. They've sent dudes to the NFL, and certainly the Mountaineers are plenty capable of waltzing into Kenan Stadium and notching a victory. But if you're UNC and you're selling the rebuild on the recruiting trail to kids, you can't afford to lose this game. You just can't. You want to continue the goodwill that they've been building up through the first 3 games, or really the first 2. Wins over South Carolina and Miami. And I don't think it took much of a step back in losing to Wake, especially the way the team came back, had the ball when the game ended, and a chance at another fourth quarter comeback win. But you can't lose to App State and continue selling what you were selling in the first couple of weeks. In addition, the way the season projects out, if you lose this game, suddenly you go 2-2. You got Clemson coming to town next week, and I don't think anybody who is remotely objective will pick the Tar Heels to win that game. So then you're looking at the first 5 games at 2-3, having lost 3 in a row, going to Georgia Tech. I know the Yellow Jackets are very down, and they're in the midst of a big-time rebuild. But that's not a winnable. That's not a lock for a win for the Tar Heels. That's been a very difficult place for them to play over the past 25 years, and it's not a gimme. Then an open week, then they go to Virginia Tech. The Hokies are going to be playing for what they always play for, and certainly with Justin Fuente's situation, we don't know what they're going to be like that game, but they'll certainly be ready for the Tar Heels, and it's a road trip to Blacksburg. Most of those ventures haven't gone well for the UNC program ever since the Hokies joined the ACC. Then they come home to take on Duke, which is a pretty good team. Then they got UVA, which might be the second best team in the ACC. And then they go to Pitt on a Thursday night, close with Mercer at home and at NC State. Point being, if you're 3-2 going into that final 7-game stretch, which is what we've said all along, we'll learn more about this team. We'll know more about its direction through over the course of the last 7 games than what they do through the first 5. It's much better to go in there at 3-2 or 4-1 if they pull off a shocker next week than 2-3. So beating App State is hugely important if you want to continue the vibe that is in the program right now, that surrounds the program, which is why so many Carolina fans are interested in UNC football. Also, the sales pitch to the recruits is a lot easier if you beat App State than it is if you don't beat App State. Plus, going into the Clemson game at 3-1, being really optimistic, and even if you lose that game, you're 3-2 going into that final stretch where I think they can have a lot of success. That's real important for this program, because if you're 2-3 as opposed to 3-2, that's a big difference. I think we all understand that. Anyway, this is 5 for Friday. Every week here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. App State, Carolina, Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. A full house at Kenan Stadium is always fun. Can't wait to be there. Thank you.